Well, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. The inflation's going crazy, especially here in Canada. Unpredictable cost of food is increasing exponentially, like it seems. Everywhere, every time I go into a store, a grocery store, butcher shop, anything, you notice the prices are going up, and a lot of people are asking, how in the hell can you afford to be eating this much red meat, specifically on a carnivore diet? And I'm going to explain a few things today, why in my situation, why it makes sense, and it's actually cheaper. And I'm going to explain some things why, because a lot of the new budding carnivores out there, it can get overwhelming when you see the increase in beef prices, and when you actually look at take some things into perspective, it gets a lot simpler. So we're going to get into that today. Okay, my name is Anthony Stewart. This is Food for Thought. We're questioning everything they've ever said. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for joining me. If you have any hacks on how to budget better on specifically on a carnivore or animal-based diet, please comment below. There's I'm finding, like, the deeper this community grows, especially in my own local community where I'm coaching some people, and we started a group, and it's great because everybody sort of, when they find deals or certain price breaks, they post it, and it's just a good way to be in the know about any kind of stuff that comes your way. I mean, these grocery stores, butcher shops, and markets all have, they need to move their inventory, so sometimes there's good deals, and it's nice to know that when people are collectively looking to get a better price, it's available. So that would be my first suggestion: start a crew, get in the know. From me personally, I have a new job. I'm making less money. How am I still able to do what I do? It is basically, over time, I have developed a way to eat once a day. It works for me. Is it optimal? Who knows? But it tends to be all right by the way I'm living. So I kind of go to work, come home, eat anywhere between 2 and 6. I usually have one big meal. I can eat that much food. That's not for everybody, but it seems to work well for me. Some days when I'm off work, I will eat 2 meals. Depending, I usually make my first meal pretty big, and then if I need to eat more later, I will. But that's generally how I do things. Now we're going to look at some stuff, beef prices, and you know what? My heart goes out to Texas right now, and especially the people that are suffering with all the fires. I know nobody's probably really talking about it because media is not covering it. I've talked to a few people that don't really follow any independent news media channels. They just follow the news, and they're not talking about this. Well, the Panhandle's on fire, and my heart goes out for them. It's along the same lines as Lahaina in Hawaii, and not to mention, just because of where I'm at in my space, the cattle ranchers are suffering, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to say anything conspiratorial, but it's kind of funny how they're making this war against beef and meat, and sure enough, the Texas Panhandle is in a lot of trouble, and that's where 83, I believe, don't quote me on that, 83% of the cattle, the beef industry in Texas is in that area that's on fire right now. So, my heart goes out to you, and I'm praying that for all the animals and the people in Texas that are affected by this, my prayers. So that probably is going to have a cascade effect on our beef prices, which will probably increase more. I don't know if anybody else has noticed. Give me a comment in the below of like how you've noticed that the prices are just jumping up. $1 or $2 a pound each week. And here's how I can justify it with less money, new job, and still do a pretty much carnivore diet. I sacrifice quality for cost right now, especially in our new. I would love to be eating ribeyes every day. I would love to be eating grass-fed, grass-finished, local farm ribeyes. Unfortunately, my budget does not allow me to do that all the time, so I have to make do with what I've got. And there is some good, wise words of wisdom out there where you eat the diet you can afford. And right now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to sacrifice some because of the cost, and that's just the way life is. So I got to deal with it. I buy bulk as best I can. Costco has come into play here. I'm spending probably about 300-ish, maybe $400 a month on my food. And lucky, my social life includes a lot of lectures, books, and some exercise, which is kind of cost efficient in itself. I pay to go to the gym. Haven't been to the gym this year, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna get back into it in April, doing some heavy lifts once a week. Not really paying too much attention to it, but that cost without a gym membership increases my thing. I'm gonna get outside as soon as the sun comes out. I'll be outside more, skipping rope, swinging a kettlebell around, doing my thing. And when I'm budgeting for my food, I buy bulk a lot and I freeze it. So when deals come around, I always have a little bit of money left over to buy enough or more and load my freezer up. So I'm never kind of short. So I spend a lot of money on butter, eggs, beef, obviously. And lately, I know I said it in a past video that I'm not going to be eating pork, but my budget just has to. Pork's considerably cheaper than beef. So I try and find the best quality pork I can and eat it to fill the hole of the amount of beef that I can no longer consume at my budget. So that's just a little hack. Now, how can I do this? This is the tricky part. Since I've been low carb, I got fat adapted. Fat adapted is huge because you're not hungry all the time. So that means you don't eat snacks. And when you consider I don't eat breakfast, lunch, or snacks in between, after dinner, dessert, well, that's when you look at it from an economical standpoint, that's saving money. So I don't buy coffees, I don't buy smoothies, I don't buy breakfast, I don't eat out of fast food. And so when you look at a meal at McDonald's, is like, in Canada anyway, it's like $15 ish. I don't do that. And I don't buy any kind of extra food out. So I cook at home, which is saving money because I can buy all the stuff I need, have it on hand, and then use it accordingly. So when I'm looking at beef prices, I usually check, the different cuts. I try and get the fattiest cut as possible. Right now I'm buying the sirloin cap with the fat cap on it. It's the end of the sirloin, and they're quite delicious steaks. In Brazil, my roommate, he tells me that it's called picanha, and that's their top of the line. So it's not the fat in the meat, it's the fat on the meat that I'm eating right now, and it seems to be the best price for me. So I buy a bunch of sirloin caps and I cut them up into steaks, throw them in the freezer, and it seems to be working quite well. I buy a lot of eggs. I try and get farmed eggs when I can. Sometimes it's not, and then if I'm ever in a pinch or in a budget, cheap eggs, I don't agree with it, but you got to work with what you got. So if I buy eggs at Costco, I've noticed the prices of eggs have gone up about $2, which is unfortunate. It's funny when every single thing you buy is up $2. It makes a big deal. So, I've noticed, I get sauerkraut from time to time. I eat fermented vegetables once in a while. Sauerkraut is one of them that I actually enjoy from time to time. And I've noticed it's up about $2, $2 a jar. Sorry about that. And, everything's just incrementally going up. So dairy, I found, is up. Butter. So how do I do it? This is how. So when I basically lay it all on the table, I'm about just under $20 a day at the highest level. I could probably budget for about under $10 a day if I was substituting with ground beef. And it hasn't happened yet, but if it had to, I would be finding the cheapest meat to add what I need to the amount of food I eat. So right now I'm able to do it, eating steak, eggs, a couple pork chops, chicken wings once in a while if they're good chicken. And that's where I tend to not spend money, is on the bullshit chicken that I don't believe is good in the supermarket. So if it's pastured or organic, there's some nuance there as well. Sometimes, and then fish once in a while. Seafood, I'll go for mussels. I'm sure you've seen my videos with oysters with my mom. Once or twice a month I'll do that, get some live oysters. Thanks to my mom, she treats me, which is very nice because they're kind of expensive as well, and the price is going up. So it's kind of working within your means. But once again, fat adapted is the key. Once your body's using its own body fat, you don't get as hungry as often. Now that's another video to get into the specifics, but that's what I find. So am I intermittent fasting? No, it's not. I'm not planning this at all. It's not. I'm riding it with intuition. Basically, when my hunger signals are telling me to eat, I eat, and I eat till I'm full. And my hunger and my signals, my satiety signals, are telling me to stop. I'm able to do this. This is a work in progress. Over time, I've been able to streamline my life. Now, I'm not tied down to food times, so if something happens in the day, I don't have to eat. I don't panic. I'm never hangry. So it works for me. But I would suggest to people just starting out to take a look at how much things are. And when you're eating a balanced standard American diet, it's expensive. And the preparation time and the waste when you're eating packaged foods, and if you're not looking at the quality of the nutrition that you're getting, you could find some holes pretty quick. And there's lots of stuff that leads to problematic health issues with that way. So for the people that are trying to like eat whole food, and whatever way you do it, it's kind of important nowadays to first of all learn how to cook at home. I think that's vital because it is going to save you money 100%. That's undeniable. If you can get fat adapted, and I'm not talking about ketosis, I'm just talking about not being hungry all the time, that's also a way to streamline your efficiency. Then you look for deals. Look for deals with the foods you eat. When you come across them, buy a lot of it, stock it up in the freezer, and eat within your budget. And it can be done. So my diet, my cost every day is under $20 a day. If I look at over the month, you can kind of get to what it is. And if you need to be cheaper, you can cut and scrape to sort of shave that off a little bit. So it's very, I think it's going to be a valuable tool, guys. I don't know how, like, it's not no surprise the world's in chaos, and we don't know how it's going to be affecting us. I think it would be a good idea to have the ability to skip a meal or two, even for a day or two, in your toolbox. If you want some help about that, message me, comment me. I'm currently coaching some people, and our group, I'm training them how to use these tools in the future to not have to go into panic mode and not have to suffer because they can actually go without food. And that's training. That's a tool. That's valuable. I think it's going to come into play very soon. We don't know how our food supply is. Like, look at the farmers' revolt in Europe. Look at just, if you just take a step back and look to the wide angle. And you can't look on mainstream media. You got to look into independent journalism for this one, because the world is on fire in lots of ways, and I don't know how it's going to affect us. My hearts and prayers go out to everybody in the world. I want all humans to love and have compassion, and I don't want to make this political at all, but I just wanted to show that my diet can be done on a lower budget, and you may have to do some crunching some numbers, but it can be possible. And people say that the carnivore diet's so expensive. It doesn't have to be. And I find that it's the way I live. I don't waste anything. I don't waste any food. I don't throw any food away. I eat everything that goes into my fridge. I don't, no vegetable waste. Vegetables are going through the cost of it. I just keep an eye out for all this stuff. Everything's going up. So what I can control, what I can do, that's kind of my secret. I use the quality before quantity. The amount of nutrition I'm getting for the food I'm eating is kind of just it's not about carnivore. It's just about what makes sense. So if you believe that meat is going to kill you, we might have some problems. But if you believe it is the most nutritious, dense food that gives us the most nutrients for the mass that you consume, there's so much room to play. And I think it comes down to practical common sense, proper budgeting, and really, really looking at what you need, what your body needs, and you go from there. So that's it for today, guys. Have a great day. Stay strong.